I will go as far as to say that the Aiper Scuba S1 2025 edition here is one of my top two favorite cleaners for the year. Yes, I really do love this cleaner. So it's important to point out that there are two versions of the Aiper Scuba S1. Yes, two versions. This one right here is last year's model, the 2024 version of the Aiper Scuba S1. And I use this exclusively in one of my pools, and I love it. It works great. Now, this model here, this is the 2025 upgraded S1 version over here. And I gotta say, compared to last year's model, the 2025 version right here is even better. So before we get into this review, I want to mention that Aiper did send me this cleaner for free to review. No monetary compensation, but I agreed to review this for free here so that I can give my honest review on it. I will include features that I like and especially features that I don't like, if any. Keep in mind that this is how this cleaner works in my pool back here, and yours might be a little better or worse, but keep an open mind. I hope this review helps. Now, before I get into this review, I want to mention that there is no real big major difference between the two cleaners here, the 2024 versus the 2025. But there is a difference. You get more features from the 2025 model. So just keep that in mind. If you already have a 2024, it's not worth getting. But if you're considering one or the other brand new, then the 2025 is definitely a really great choice. Now, if you take a look at both of these cleaners here, it's physically impossible to tell which one's the older model and which one's the new model. They look physically the same, exactly the same on the outside. But on the inside, the 2025 is upgraded. It has everything the 2024 has, but extra features. Features in which I mentioned in my last video. My last year's video on the Aiper Scuba S1 of 2024, I mentioned that it lacked a few features. Take a look at this. So I do wish that Aiper included an ultrafine filter, but it does not. There are absolutely no smart features to this cleaner here. You can't actually control it through your cell phone. There's no online app. Yes, last year I mentioned that the S1 lacked an ultrafine filter. I mentioned that the S1 lacked smart controls and online app. But this year, on the 2025 version, they've upgraded it and included those features. Totally awesome. Now, it could be a coincidence, but I like to believe that I had something to do with that. So, you're welcome. Now, with the extra features on this 2025 model, there is going to be an extra cost. But in all honesty, it is negligible. It's about $50 to $60 more for the 2025 upgraded version compared to the 2024. And I got to tell you, for that ultrafine filter alone, the 2025 is definitely worth the extra cost. If you're buying brand new and trying to choose, maybe you're thinking about saving a little bit of money for the 2024 version. If you want a new cleaner, the 2025 is the way to go. Spend that extra cost, get the 2025 version. Now, I'll tell you what, for just the ultrafine filter alone, usually on cleaners, there are different models. There's the base, and then there's the higher end model. For the ultrafine filter, you're only going to get that on the higher end model, and you're going to have to spend hundreds, a lot more, just to get that ultrafine filter. So being at only $60 for the difference here, the 2025 is definitely the way to go. Now, I do want to mention that I reached out to Aiper here, and for everyone that already owns a 2024 model like I have right here, they will be releasing an ultrafine filter basket later on. So you will have the option to purchase that later on to add to your 2024 version. Now, that's great because what I literally did was I took the filter from the 2025, put it in the 2024, and it works perfectly fine. So let's talk about this Aiper Scuba S1 2025 version here and what makes it such a great choice. First off, let's talk about this physical design here. This is one of my favorite designs. It is very sleek and modern here. It doesn't look like any other cleaner on the market, and it's been around for a year, the design at least. It's got this black and gray look with a hint of turquoise and teal popping out all around it. It's just really nice. It has a very nice premium build to it, and that's great because it's not at a premium price tag. For the price of this cleaner, I would consider it a value cleaner with all of the features. Now, one of the best features about this Aiper Scuba S1 right here is the fact that, you can see right here, it's a very lightweight cleaner. Only comes in at 16.5 pounds. And I'll tell you why that's important. all of a sudden, all these new cleaners, premium cleaners, they come in at 25 plus pounds. And the heavier a cleaner is, physically, when you put this in the pool, it's heavier. When you take it out of the pool, it has water inside, so it's heavy as well. The lighter a cleaner in general, the easier it is to take in and out of the pool. The less impact it has on the physical body. Doesn't matter if you're the strongest person in the world, it's still very good to have a lightweight cleaner. Now, built inside of the S1 here is a 7800 milliamp battery. This means that you will get a maximum continuous runtime of up to 180 minutes, 3 full hours. This means that you can run it on multiple modes before you have to fully charge it. It doesn't mean that it'll run for 3 straight hours. It means that you can run floor mode multiple times, adding up to a total of 3 hours. So just keep that in mind. Because of that 7800 milliamp battery, it will take you 4 hours to charge. And back over here, this is your charging port right here. I'll open this up here and show you. You can see right now, it is wet. Do not plug your charger in when it is wet. You want to make sure this is dry. A lot of people will take this out of the pool and plug it right in, and that is not good. You do not want water in your port at all. You want to let your cleaner sit on the side and dry for a while before you plug it in the charge. Or you take a towel and you dry it down as dry as you can before you charge. So keep that in mind. Always keep your charging port dry. Now, I do wish this was a wireless charging device, but it's not that type of cleaner. For the price of this cleaner, I don't expect wireless charging. Wireless charging is usually associated with much higher price cleaners. But I've used a ton of cleaners over the years with plug-in type of chargers like this, and they've worked perfectly fine. They charge perfectly fine. So right here at the front of it here, this is your grip handle right here. And what's unique about this is it's a concave type of handle where you reach inside of it to grab onto it. Other cleaners on the market, they're all handles that stick out and you grab onto that. This is the only cleaner that I know of that is concave. So it does take a little bit of getting used to take this out of the pool, but it attributes to its very sleek design. Also, if you're fishing it out of the pool, it does take a little bit more work to target this area because it is darker and harder to see, but overall, when you get used to it, it gets easier to handle. Now, right on the side here, on both sides, you have these track style wheels. These are what they call caterpillar treads, and it just means that it will climb up steep walls very well. In general, track style wheels will climb straight up better than four-wheel drive systems that use 4 wheels. Let me lift this up and show you. At the front of this, you've got 2 large front scrubbing brushes to knock away debris. At the kind of bottom of this here, you've got some smaller brushes here also to knock loose debris. And then you've got the inlet to suck debris into right over here. Now, a neat feature about this S1 is the fact that it has an auto parking system. So this means that at the end of a cleaning cycle, or when the cleaner is low on battery percentage, it will park itself at the end of a wall, closest wall in the pool. And it just sits there and turns itself off so that when you come in, you can just take your little fish hook and fish it out. This does not have an auto parking system up on the waterline. Only very expensive premium cleaners have that option right now. I don't expect it on this, but it does have an auto park system where it will park at the end of the wall on the floor. So keep that in mind. Also built inside of this S1 is a smart navigation system and what they call WavePath 2.0. It's a combination of a bunch of sensors and patterns that it follows in the pool, whether it's climbing the walls or the floors of your pool. And in my pool over here, it works great. I've used it in pools up to about 2,000 square feet and it works perfectly fine. However, if you have an extremely large pool, if you have an extremely complicated pool, a ton of curves, a ton of ledges everywhere, then the S1 won't work well in that type of setup. You'll want an even more advanced navigation system, even more sensors and detection that's not available on this S1. They have them on the new models, all that new technology, but the S1 here does not. Remember, the technology on this is the same as last year's 2024 model, but the 2024 model navigation system works perfectly fine, just not in gigantic pools and very complicated pools. Now, another great feature about this Aiper Scuba S1 is the fact that you can use it 2 ways. You can use it, one, as a simple plug-and-play type of cleaner, where all you need to do is control it from this panel right here. This is the control panel right over here. You hold this button to turn it on. When you hold it, you'll hear it turn on. You see that? The light lights up, and you can see right there, there is a mode. That is your standard mode right here. And in this mode, it'll clean both your walls and the floors of your pool. It always cleans the walls first, and then it moves to the floors of the pool. Then push this button again, and now you have this where it's pictured at the bottom. This is your floor cleaning mode. This will focus just on the floors of your pool. Push this again, and now you have the little indicators on the side of the walls. This is your wall cleaning mode, including the water line. It'll focus only on the walls of your pool. Now let me push this one more time and show you this with the arrow inside. This right here is eco mode, one of my favorite modes here. Now, what is eco mode? Eco mode is basically your weekly scheduled timer. Now, in the past, weekly timers were only associated with corded cleaners, but now cordless cleaners have come a long way, and you can turn these on and leave them in your pool for a week at a time. On eco mode, on this S1 in particular, the 2025 version, what it does is it'll turn on and focus just on the floors of your pool for 50 minutes every 48 hours over the course of a week. It's great during those times of the season where you get very little debris and you don't want to do too much maintenance. You can just set it and let it clean up all by itself. Love the weekly timer function. Now, even though you can use this as a simple plug and play, the great thing about this is that it does include an online app. Yes, you could download that app and get smart features. You can get notifications on how the cleaner is doing. You get the battery percentage, which is very neat to know how much battery you actually have. And you get access to cleaning modes. You can switch your modes instead of on the physical cleaner itself. You can do it on the app. Now, one really great feature about that app is the fact that the S1 now can receive firmware updates. Yes, this means that if there's any issues with the cleaner later on, they can just send an over-the-air update through the app and update the cleaner itself to fix that problem. And that's really great because it makes the cleaner more competitive and it makes it last longer in general. Firmware updates are great. Now, one thing I do want to mention about that online app is the fact that it only works when the cleaner is out of the pool. Before you place it into the pool, it'll work. When you take it out of the pool, it'll work. But when it's underneath the water of the pool, it loses communication. And this is standard for all cleaners on the market. They lose signal when they go underneath the water. So keep that in mind. When you place this underneath the water, you won't have access to that app. Now, let's talk about the debris basket system here. This is an easy access top loading debris basket. Open this up here and pull this out here. This is a 3.5 liter basket. And what's great about this version here on the 2025 version is this. Open this up and take a look at this right here. That is an ultra fine filter. Yes, 2 filters in this set here. You have one on this side, measures in at 180 microns. 180 microns is a fine filter, meaning it'll capture your small, medium, and large debris, your leaves, your branches, twigs, rocks, sand, and dirt. It'll pick that up. However, if you get a lot of very fine debris, a lot of sand, silt in your pool, cloudy, milky water, algae in the pool, then the ultrafine filter here is a must, and this is great. This is a 3 micron ultrafine filter. It is a cloth filter here, and it works exceptionally well to pick up very small debris. I love the fact that on the S1 now, it is included an ultrafine filter basket. Yes, love it. One thing about this filter though is that you can only use it on floor mode, and that's because when you use an ultrafine filter, regardless of the brand or cleaner, it always requires more power. You can really see the difference in the filter type here. You can see through this micron filter, but you cannot see through this ultrafine filter. So this means that when it's sucking debris through it, it requires more power. This means that performance-wise, when you use it on a cleaner, it will slow it down. It'll look like the cleaner is moving a little sluggishly in the pool, and that's perfectly normal. Not just with this cleaner, but every cleaner on the market. That's what ultrafine filters do. And that's why you can only use this ultrafine filter inside of the fine filter basket when you're using it on floor mode, so keep that in mind. One other recommendation I do want to make is that when you're doing standard mode, which is probably one of the common modes that you will be using where it cleans the walls and floors of the pool, you don't want to use the ultrafine filter because it will have a hard time climbing up your walls with this inside, so keep that in mind. If you're noticing it's not climbing up the walls, maybe it's because you left the ultrafine filter inside. So I talked a lot about this Aiper Scuba S1, the 2025 version here. Let's finally place it into the pool and I'll show you how well it works. Alright guys, so I'm ready to put the Aiper Scuba S1 into the pool. Remember, this is the 2025 edition. Now, most of the time, you probably will use standard mode where it cleans both the walls and the floors. Cleans the walls first and then it moves to the floors. But I'm going to turn it on wall mode first and just show you how it cleans in general on the wall. And then I'm going to switch it to floor mode, put the ultrafine filter into floor mode, and then show you how that moves in the pool. Now remember, you can't use that ultrafine filter on wall mode, at least not effectively. So you can see this is just the standard fine filter. I've taken the ultrafine filter out, put that in, close it up, turn this on right here. Right over here, I'm going to switch it to wall mode. You can see that, that is wall mode right there. Okay guys, so the Scuba S1 2025 version is on right now. It is on wall mode, so it should be able to climb up the walls, including the ledges of the pool. Let's go ahead and watch this here. Right now I kind of hit it at a very bad angle. It's at a corner, so it doesn't have enough traction, or maybe it does. Kind of impressive that it can actually climb up there. You see that? It proved me wrong. It can climb at an angle. Awesome. Wall mode climbs up the ledge immediately to my wall up here, 5 foot tall. That's the water line right there, and it's scrubbing the water line right there. Awesome. Now, if you take a look into the pool, it's about 5 feet all the way at the top here. This ledge is about 4 feet tall, so it was able to climb up. And I've got about 14 inches worth of water on this tanning ledge over here. In wall mode, you can see that it did climb up immediately after I turned it on onto the tanning ledge, and now it's cleaning this area up here. Awesome. Now at the top of my tanning ledge is a very shallow step right here. Only about 6-7 inches worth of water. No cleaner will climb up this step right here, so this is a good example to tell you that you need at least a minimum amount of water for the cleaner to go on top of for it to clean. This shallow step will not climb up. In general, every other part of my pool is at least 14 inches of water, so you probably need about a foot worth of water for it to reach above the surface. Okay guys, did you see that? It moved off my tanning ledge kind of in between the steps onto my wall over here. So it does transition pretty well off of a ledge or onto a ledge. You can see that, and it still moves in that end-like pattern. I can see that it's gonna go down and kind of turn and then move back up like an end-like pattern. Watch. Okay guys, so the S1 is in the pool here, and I just want to point something out. Water line cleaning, but look at where my finger is right here. You can see it does move a little bit, so it moves horizontally a little bit along the water line to clean. So that's really neat. More coverage that way. Not as much as the higher end models, but still a little bit more coverage on the water line. Okay guys, so the Scuba S1 is in the pool right now. It's transitioning from this wall to this wall over here, and I just want to show you how it moves along a corner to the next wall. Right now I hit it right at the end right here, climbs all the way up here to the water line, scrubs the water line. You can actually see it moving a little bit here, but it should be able to move to this next wall perpendicular to it as well. Let's watch how it transitions. It's going back down, and it does move in that end-like pattern, so what it'll do is it'll sort of back up a little bit, and then turn, and it should move along this wall over here. Now it stopped right there. Now it's going to turn to the right a little bit. You see that? Now it goes forward. So you're moving a little bit away from this wall, and hopefully it hits the corner and turns over. Let's watch this. It's climbing a corner right here. So let's see if it moves to the left over here. Now, did you see that? It completely transitioned to this wall over here, and it was pretty nice to see that it moved over, but it didn't skip that much of a section. There is a little bit of a gap here. Obviously, it's not going to get the entire spot, but it did move over really well, transition really well to the next wall over here. But what's funny is it moved right back over to the spot that it missed earlier. You see that? this spot is missed because it moved over, but it kind of moved back over this direction, so that's neat. It did get the entire corner right here. Okay guys, so it is transitioning over to my tanning ledge over here. Right now I have a shorter ledge here, a wider one over there, but you can see it's moving from this wall over here to this one over here. So let's watch it move from a wall to a ledge on this side. Now it's climbing up my tanning ledge right here. This straight up right here is 4 feet. This is higher, but it's not going to climb over this ledge. I know that. This is a very shallow step right here. Only 6-7 inches of water right there. So it won't climb up over that. You need a minimum amount of water to do that. So I know it's not going to go over that. So keep that in mind. But it is going to move along this ledge over here. So that's pretty awesome. Okay guys, so I'm gonna grab the cleaner right here so I can swap it. I'm gonna switch it over here now to floor mode. This is floor mode now, and what I'll do is I'll open this up here and open up this filter basket right here. And there's already debris in there. And what I'll do is I'll take the ultrafine filter, place that inside, close it up, just like that. Now it's on floor mode, and put it into the pool on floor mode. And here it goes on floor mode. Now in floor mode, it will not climb up walls, no steps, doesn't do the water line or anything like that. It'll hit the wall and then just back down. Just take a look. It's the wall there. It doesn't climb, but it backs back up. Only focuses on the floor of the pool. And again, I have the ultrafine filter in this just to show you how well it'll pick up all this debris. Okay guys, so you can really see the S-like pattern on the floor mode. It's going straight right now. It's going to stop and it's going to turn to its left here. You see that? And then eventually it'll go straight. You see how it made it sort of a U-turn, an S-like turn. So now it'll go straight to the other side of the wall over here. Watch it. Now, if you take a look at it right now, it's in its pattern on floor mode, but it's going along the main drain right here. You'll see it be able to go along the main drain. And what's nice about the S1 is that it doesn't get stuck on the main drain. You can see it go over it. It does take a little bit of time sometimes, but it will be able to get off the main drain. Watch it right here. You see that? It goes right over that main drain directly. Going for my second main drain right here, sort of at an angle right there, but it hits it. Doesn't get stuck, so that's great. And it's going to repeat that pattern on floor mode. Back up. And it's going to turn to the left this time. It'll move forward right over here. Remember that main drain is right there too. And it's not getting stuck, so that's great. It'll stop a little bit right here. And then over here, it turns to the left again. It's definitely a pattern that it follows, but you can see it has no issue around the main drain here, and it's now moving along the main drains on this side of the pool here. Awesome. All right, guys, so let's go ahead and take this out of the pool here. I'll power it off right here. Set this down right here, and let's open up this basket here. Remember, I had it on floor mode. Let's take a look. This feels heavy, and that's because of that ultra fine filter. But take a look inside right here. I'm gonna pull this basket out. Look at that. Inside of the fine basket, you can see there's debris in there. It does capture pretty small debris. But take a look at this ultra fine on the outside. But the inside is where you see all that stuff. Let me go ahead and pour this all out. And you can see all that debris inside. You can really see on the cleaner itself how much finer the debris is. It's cloth, so it sticks to it really well. That 3 micron really does capture a lot of debris. So you guys can see that the Aiper Scuba S1 2025 edition works pretty well in the pool back here. If you don't have an extremely large pool, if you don't have a really complicated style pool, then the Aiper Scuba S1 2025 edition here will work great for your pool as well. If you're in the market for a robotic pool cleaner and you're looking for a cordless cleaner that's very lightweight, if you're looking for a simple plug and play cleaner, but you want the option of using smart notifications and online app, if you're looking for a cleaner with an ultra fine filter, then the Aiper Scuba S1 is definitely a really great choice. I will go as far as to say that the Aiper Scuba S1 2025 edition here is one of my top 2 favorite cleaners for the year. Yes, I really do love this cleaner. Overall, the Aiper Scuba S1 2025 edition is definitely a great choice. Definitely a robotic pool cleaner here. I recommend.
We hope this review helps.